Hello everybody, welcome back. I made a video about 10 months ago, I believe, maybe 11, and I had a lot of questions following it, and a couple of people asked me to do more videos, and sorry I dropped the ball. I'm definitely not a YouTuber, have zero aspirations to be a YouTuber, but I just want to make an informative video because I know I could have used it when I was, going through with my swap. So this kind of pertains to anybody that has an E46 and wants to drift it or even streetcar it and LS swap it, and then anybody that has a sedan that has any questions body wise or wheels or whatever it may be. So currently, as you can see, I have the engine pulled out, which gives me a great opportunity to show you guys the different aspects of the swap, how I did certain things, general things that you need to do regardless of how you do it, and I could walk you guys through everything as we go along. So let's check it out. All right, let's start out with the LS first. I'm just showing you guys my basic engine. What happened to it, the reason I have it apart is, you look down here, clear issue there. That's not really supposed to look like that. I broke a ringland. I ran it really hot, and I ended up breaking a ringland. Everything else is good. I didn't break any rods. The bearings all look pretty good, if you ask me. Definitely would still be able to run it if I didn't break a ringland. And all the journals are all pretty looking pretty peachy. There's a little dirt from it sitting out, but this is now gonna be spare parts for me. I got another engine build coming up that I'm doing, so I'll have to stay tuned for that, I guess. All right, next, very common question. This is a Holley 302-1 oil pan. There's a 301-1 or 302-2 or something like that. It'll have a little hump right here. The 302-1 does not have a hump. It's straight across the bottom. And obviously this would be, compared to how my car is, turned the other way. So this is rear sump. Another thing I purchased, it's worth it, trust me. Get this insert baffle. It's about $200, but you want to, it has a little door baffles in there, and it really keeps the oil centered on the pickup tube to allow you to pick up oil. Okay, moving on, a couple things to look at here. So first of all, I am running a CX Racing kit. A lot of questions on that. They're usable, they work. I don't have any complaints. One thing you want to keep in mind, you want to have your driver's side header, assuming you're a left-hand drive, you want to have your driver's side header in place with the steering column in before putting the LS in. The passenger side, you can go ahead and drop the header in when it's kind of half in. It doesn't need to stay in. I went ahead and I hammered out the tunnel as well. If you're running T56 or CD09, or anything else, I would just clear a little bit of space. I really didn't hammer out too much, as you can tell. Now, this is a swirl pot. I plan on making this kind of like a 3-part series so I can make progress and make a new video. So you just have to stay tuned. But this is essentially like a mini expansion tank for, not really expansion or reservoir. It's more for the coolant to swirl and constantly bleed as the engine is running. So we can get into that later. One thing I learned, especially for drifting, power steering cooler. Now this is legit a $30 power steering cooler. I don't know where you're from, but this is $30 from like O'Reilly's Advance or something like that. It's actually a trans cooler, literally dash 6 line push lock, just worm clamped, and it doesn't leak at all. And then I ran a Chase Bays reservoir, and I'm running a BMW pump, which I'll get into that later. I don't feel like pulling out the bracket. You'll just have to see it on another video. And then also coming from, I'm running a stock tank with a 340 LPH fuel pump, legit a fuel pump from eBay, and it's working great, trust me. And it's just a deadhead setup. So literally there's one feed line, and then on the intake you have your crossover and it's plugged off on the other side. And then it's a adjustable fuel pressure regulator, as you would expect. So one thing that's kind of interesting the way I did it is due to space, I have my brake booster hose, my vacuum hose, actually going into a vacuum block, and then the other side, the other end of it, which it's the same size, comes out, and this comes into the back of the intake. So that's the way I have mine set up. You actually don't need it. I mean, if you ever go boost, maybe it might be beneficial to have, but you see I'm literally only running one, and that is going to my, I need to get a new one because it's kind of janky. Still works though, but GM 3-bar map. So I don't need, you don't need to run 3-bar. I don't even run any bar, but it came with my ECU setup. And ECU, that is micro squirt, basically a mini mega squirt, if you can call it that. So also next, I'm running an SR20 radiator. I am originally a Nissan guy. SR20 made sense to me, and I had my LS in an SR20 in a S13 chassis. So what I did was broke out a welder, and I just basically created a radiator mount for an SR20 radiator. Now, if you see this one over here, this is my new one. It is a little bit wider, so I have to kind of chop it back up and reinstall it. But it is recessed under the core support. So that is something I really wanted to do, and I'm really glad I did it. It clears up a lot of room. I could run really good fans and still have plenty of space to change serpentine belts and everything like that. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys have been wondering. Here, don't worry about the transition behind it, but here is a CD09 with a Collins adapter and a T56 bell housing. That's all there is to it. So now for my clutch line, sorry about the lighting. This is a T56 throwout bearing. And then in the T56 belt throwout bearing, you would typically have this port with a kind of long nipple that comes out to about here where my finger's at. That's how you usually bleed it. But you can buy these lines for about $30 to $50. And it's an actual remote bleeder that's super long. So I could actually bleed it in the engine bay, which is nice. And then this line is just an AN line adapter, and it goes to this. I actually had this custom made to work with a BMW, because that was originally my Nissan one. And then down here, that meets up with the BMW Slave. So it's actually a two-piece line. I've never had issues with it, and I wouldn't recommend anything else. There's probably better stuff, but I am completely happy with this. Also, before you even try and test fit your LS, if you ever do go LS, this is typically more like this. So you need to cut this out. This allows room for your header. I work out in my garage. I don't have a ton of tools. So this right here, I wish I could chop it off more, but I'm content with the way it is because the spark plug sits right about here. So there's enough room to take it out, and I never really had big issues with it. So I'm a happy camper. Also, here's a little outside view of how it looks right now, just in case anyone's curious. And then here's my bumper. Everyone asks about this. This is just a stock E46 bumper with the core support still attached. And then the bottom part around here is cut off. And then this is an S14 Zenki bumper, about equivalent to something like this bumper. This is a 1JZ S14 also that gets worked on in the garage. So yeah, that's how the bumper's done. And again, these are Must Customs front fenders. And after a full season of bashing on it, just a little crack. My side skirt goes here though. Mounting it is gonna be something I need to work on a little bit. And then here's the rear. And I did a full-blown wall scrape, and this has completely OEM rear bash bar, everything like that, and fenders, rear quarter still intact, the body didn't bend. These cars are tanks, so I definitely enjoy it. All right, so I had to run inside real quick, but I'll pretty much end it there. Like I said, I'm planning on making like a 3-part series. Basically, this being number 1, number 2, pretty much be like midway through doing it. Like I said, I'm not really a YouTuber, so I can't really update step by step and record the whole thing. I'm not very good at that. So, but one thing I wanted to add, looking at the transmission, I wanted to say that I have a Serial 9 CDO9 shifter, and I highly recommend it. Look at the price. You might not agree with me on it, but it's definitely changed the game on shifting on the CDO9 and makes it a very reliable shifting transmission for the power that it's making. If you ask me what my power is, I have no idea. So, but with that said, if there's any other questions, comment on YouTube. I'll try my best to answer it, or put it on the next video. And also wherever this is shared, if it's on Facebook or whatever, try and comment on that. Hopefully I'm a part of whoever's sharing it, and I can try and answer questions from there. So we'll just end it with that, and hopefully these videos will kind of help other people, body wise, drifting wise, street car wise, or LS swap wise, for E46 out, and make things happen and get some more cool looking cars out on the streets. So, all right, well, see you in the next one.